Welcome to the Flat Earth Podcast. As ever, I'm Rick, your host. Do us the normal solid that you do if you've not done it already. If you're watching on YouTube, just take a moment to like and subscribe. Press the little bell icon. You'll get information of all the different videos we do. The podcast of a Thursday, the Project 1046 of a Tuesday morning and a Friday morning, and other content that will be rolling out as we go along. If you want to find out anything more about the podcast, go to theflatearthpodcast.com. There you'll find everything you need to know, pictures of my lovely face, a bit of a story about me, all that sort of business. There's even a PayPal button on there, and you can give generously or in a very tight way. It's completely up to you, but whatever way you give, it will go to fund my lavish lifestyle of cocaine and strippers, fast cars, and a rock and roll sort of like lifestyle, you know. Or, in all honesty, probably just some stuff for the studio, things like that, things to help grow the channel. Whatever, do what you got to do. Anyway, last time I spoke on the podcast, we did a little thing called the things I say but do not mean. The things I say but do not mean. Talking about sometimes when I speak out that actually I can get things wrong. And what I thought I was saying, people don't get that. They get an entirely different message, and how it's very easy to be misunderstood and misconstrued, and it can go to some very strange places. I want to do a little bit of a continuation of that thought, if you wouldn't mind. So last time we did the words we say, or the words I say, but do not mean. But this time I want to talk about the words we say that we do mean. That sometimes we use particular words, and on paper they might look like one thing, but actually in reality they're another. Let me tell you a quick story. I've started skateboarding again. It's been 20 years. It's part of the Project 1046 program project. If you want to know if I remember that, I'll put a link somewhere at the top here or somewhere. You can link to some of the videos there. But I'm back on my skateboard after this skateboard now. So my friend has lent me a board. So I'm back on this thing. This is my current setup. I'm off to get my own brand new full skateboard setup. First one in 20 years. I'm off to get that probably sometime next week. But for now, that's the steed that I'm on. But anyway, I'm back on my skateboard, or rather, I'm back falling off my skateboard after 20 years. And the other day, my friend said, let's go skating during the day. My friend Matt, who also I've not really seen properly in 20 years, getting to know him again, it's really good fun. We said, let's go skateboarding. He took a day off work. He's like a mechanic engineer, and I'm just kind of a lowly sort of writer and podcaster and YouTuber, so I can take a bit of time during the day. So we met up and we went to a skateboard park really near my house, like 5 minutes drive, and then we went to one out in Stevenage, a bit further out, the beautiful land of Stevenage, which we might talk about in a while, and went to a skate park there. We're there about 40 minutes. It's a concrete park, and whenever I go skateboarding, because I'm trying to get some footage of me as I progress, hopefully, it's hard at the moment, it's not really going that well. I always set up a tripod and put my camera on it, this camera, or my phone, or I've got another camera. I just set up, or GoPro, I just set up some cameras around the place, normally in a static shot, just to see how things are progressing, to see if I can get some footage. On this particular day, Matt and I were skating this bold area, like a sort of a mini ramp area with a bold section. So I set the tripod up right there, filming, cut off, just filming that section. It didn't move. We're right at one end of the skate park, and behind us is more banks and hubbers and rails and stuff. But here's just one obstacle, if you like. So we're skateboarding there, half an hour, 40 minutes, trying out some different bits and bobs in there. I'm falling off a lot, you know, and 1 second. JD Honey, man. Whoo! Tell you, if we ever grow this thing, we got to get JD Honey to sponsor this podcast, man, because I get through a lot of this stuff, man. I can't be keeping paying for it, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah. So we're there about 40 minutes or so, at which point a mum walks up with her child, and her child's on one of those little mini scooters, little micro scooter type thing. So she kind of walks and sits on the bench with her child, and Matt and I just carry on, you know, whatever. Do you know what I mean? And we on purpose kind of, Matt took a day off work and we went during the day to kind of avoid the busy times in skate parks where there are lots of people on skateboards and lots of kids around and stuff. So we're there, and at a certain point the woman sees that there's the camera on a tripod, and she turns around to me and says,
you're not going to carry on filming, are you?
That's my, you hear that voice? I'm such an actor. I'm an actor.
She says, you're not going to carry on filming, are you?
And I was in a bit of a daze trying to think about not falling off and hurting myself. And I said, sorry, pardon? She goes,
Because you're not gonna carry on filming. You're not gonna film my son, are you?
and I said, well, no, I'm not like, we're not planning to like film your son. We're filming ourselves skateboarding. We're trying to document what we do, you know. She said, well,
I'm not. You can't. I don't know who you are. You can't film my son.
I said, well, look, you want me to stop filming?
Yes, I don't want you to film my child.
And I said to her, because I don't know if you know the laws in England, like if you're in a public place, no one can stop you taking photographs or filming, even though it can be annoying at times. I understand there are people on YouTube who will go out of their way to annoy people by filming them when they don't want to be filmed. I get that. But basically, you don't have to. You've got a good reason. And we had a good reason. We're filming. And I said to her, look, you need to know that in a public place, I don't have to not film, but I will avoid as best I can filming your son. And I kind of left it there and thought, that's very fair. I've been a very fair man in that moment there. Now, my friend Matt, who's with me, still fair, but yeah, with a little bit more like curmudgeon about it, kind of just goes,
Well, you know, he said, well, this is a skateboard park, love. There's a scooter park down the road. The council made a scooter park for little kids down the road. This is a skateboard park.
Now, Matt wasn't wrong. Matt wasn't wrong at all. Tone might have been off the touch. I don't know. And he didn't know what he was walking into, man, because these Stevenage women, they're fiery things, man. I don't know if you've ever been to Stevenage. Stevenage is in Hertfordshire, but it's not really part of Hertfordshire. It's hardly part of the earth, to be honest with you. It's a strange, strange place. Think of, like, you know, in Star Wars, or any scene where someone goes to like some sort of den of iniquity, some den of robbers and thieves, normally in a casino or like a house of ill repute. That's Stevenage, man. If you ever want an otherworldly experience, man, you know, you haven't got to go off-world to Mars or the moon. You haven't got to go deep into the Amazon. Just hit Stevenage High Street on a Saturday afternoon. All kinds of things going on, man. People with eye patches, mad hairy shoulders, like crazy eyes, and the women are even worse, you know, just like babies with, you know, babies with tattoos, do you know, like just madness, just absolute madness. Stevenage is just, it's a whole other thing. So Matt encountered, I don't know if it was first, I can't imagine it's his first Stevenage woman. This woman didn't take didn't sort of like what Matt was saying. And at a certain point she said, look,
I don't know why you're being a dick about this. I'm asking, are you telling me that you, a grown man, have got a problem with my child skating in a skateboard park?
Now, we're talking about the words we say and what we mean. Now, she said grown man or grown men. She was addressing me as well. I mean, I'm very young. I'm 45. Matt's 50. I understand he's old as dust. But me, I'm a young whippersnapper. I still got these springy legs of a gazelle. Matt is, you know, it's difficult for Matt now. I have to push him in and out of bowls. It's not easy. And
she says, are you telling me that you, a grown man, aren't going to let my child skate?
Now, she didn't really mean grown man. What she meant was you're a grown man and you're acting like a child. You see, there are things we say and we can get it wrong and it can be misunderstood. And then there are things we don't say when we're saying what we are saying to achieve a certain effect. Now, it didn't go well when she called Matt a dick.
He said, oh, charming. Yeah, I said, nice. He called me a dickhead. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's lovely.
Her son at this point was sat next to her on the bench, bawling his eyes out. He's just terrified. He doesn't know what's going to go on. And I don't feel like he's from Stevenage, kid. So I don't think he was thinking, oh no, these two grown men are about to beat my mum up. He's probably thinking, my mum, I've seen my mum in action. My mum's about to whoop some ass. You know what I mean? This is a Stevenage bird, but it's scary times. Do you know what I mean? I was fearing for my life a little bit. I think I better grab this cameraman before she comes home and starts smashing stuff up and goes full Stevenage, Hertfordshire banshee, you know. Grown men. But she meant your kids. There's another thing going on. Everywhere at the moment, there is what people are calling the current cost of living crisis. Have you seen this? It's on all the papers, it's in all the headlines, it's in every news flash you get, that we in England are suffering in the current cost of living crisis. And it's not just us. It's around kind of mainland Europe, in America and all over. The whole world seems to be in some form of current cost of living crisis. And when something happened the other day, I heard that phrase, current cost of living crisis, and it just like a little splinter in underneath your now. I don't know if that's what this is, because I don't know if you know this. I hope you understand this. We are not currently in a current cost of living crisis. We're not. Now listen to me. I'm not saying things aren't expensive. I went down to my local shop the other day and I bought like a loaf of bread. I bought some eggs and I bought like a box of butter. And no, not a box. No, not a tub. Not see. I was about to say it was really expensive. It was like £8-9 or whatever. But like it would be if I was buying a box of butter. I don't buy a box of butter. I bought a tub of butter. So some bread, some eggs, tub of butter. You know, your standard, typical, atypical shop of how things might cost. And it was like £7-8. I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is crazy, you know. Things are costing more. Fuel is costing more. Energy costs, electricity, gas are costing more. I understand that. And I understand that the moniker it's been given, the title that's been placed over these sets of issues is the title Cost of Living Crisis. Things we say, but what we mean. Sometimes in world we get like an earthquake somewhere, or we get a tsunami, don't we, or an avalanche, or some great subsidence, some landslide happens, and all of a sudden we see that some act of God, some moment in the animal of nature occurs, and there's injury and loss. And what happens is we then get the so and so earthquake crisis fund, right? The tsunami crisis fund, right? Because we use that word crisis to describe something that we didn't have any control over, that just happened to us, that just fell on us, exploded around us, crumbled around us, and we didn't have control of it. But is that what this is? I don't think so. I think this is a case of the words we say and what we mean, and what is meant by this by our governments and people who control is it's not our fault. It's the current cost of living crisis. It's not our fault. What if we gave it a different title? What if we said the current result of mismanaged economics by governmental forces in the world? What if we said that? What if we said the current situation caused by greed and the insatiable hunger for corporate profit? What if we called it that? That would change it. That would put someone in the dock. That would put someone in the room. When I was a pastor and I would counsel people, be it couples or individuals, it was always very difficult if you could never get that individual or couple to admit if they had done something wrong. If you couldn't get someone to understand where they'd gone wrong, you could not help them when you met with them because they weren't in the room. The only way you could help someone is by getting them in the room, getting them in the problem, getting them in the situation. So I look at the moment at this current cost of living crisis, and it's funny, since I've seen it, it jars me now. And I listen to these people and I'm like, whoa, current cost of living crisis. This didn't just happen. We, over decades, over so much time, we mismanaged the funds of different countries. We mismanaged the way we gathered energy, the way we gathered food, the way all these processes were put in place. And eventually it's led to this. It's led to this moment. The words we say and the things we mean. I come from a tradition of truth speakers. I was born again into a line of people who had said, I'm going to put away falsehood and deceit, and I'm going to speak truthfully to people. I'm going to look him in the eye and I'm going to tell them what I mean. I come from a tradition that says, let your yes be yes and let your no be no. But this is not what we currently see in our world, is it? I think that the shifting sands of our culture are alarming. The rate at which what was true yesterday and understood yesterday and accepted yesterday just moves all around, and we take these different words to take us out of the room and out of responsibility, or to put others in the room and put the responsibility on others when it's really ours. Words are tricky things. Words have a life of their own, and we can use them to explain what is the reality, or we can use them to conceal what is the reality, depending on what we have to gain or lose from whichever description we choose. We do this. I do this. You've done this. We reframe things using words to make it sound less bad or less our fault. You've said stuff to friends, family, close friends, which you knew on paper seemed like just a simple collection of words, but in the person you looked them in the eye and you gave them and what you said was a dig. What you said was a warning. What you said was a little put down. We've all done this. We're all human. We've all erred, right? We've all messed up. But like I said last week, we have responsibility over the words, over our tongue. We can decide what we say and don't say. And we can check in with people. Did you understand what I said? Tell me what I said, to make sure that's really what we wanted those words to achieve. And we can reframe them if not, pick different ones, refine our terms. But also, let's be very careful about the words we're taking in from all of those people around us, because they do paint your world. They paint like when you get a puzzle and you throw all the pieces on a table, and the first thing you do is you try and get the edge, because it's really easy. You find all the pieces of a straight edge. That frame, you then fill the frame. Sometimes people will give you a frame and say, here it is. It's the cost of living crisis. Here this is gender as we now understand it. Sexuality as we understand it. Money as we understand. Here's the frame. And some of us, we have to go, oh, I know the words you're using. I can see the frame you're trying to give me. But is it what it really is? Is that really reality? Interesting times we live in, man. Many years ago, listening to people talk about the postmodern movement, and I don't know an awful lot. I'm not going to get myself into trouble here, but when you give up objective truth that is about this here is true, this thing, this is a glass of Jack Daniel's honey. Ooh. When you give up the fact that this object is a thing, objective truth, and you start to say, well, actually, I think it's something different, and put it away. I think it's not that. In my opinion, how I feel about it, it's not whiskey at all. I don't feel that's a glass at all. We use different words. It's not a whiskey glass. It's a tumbler. It's a beaker. It's a cup. It's a receptacle. In our society, we've got to be very careful where we allow ourselves to be anchored at the moment. For me, I have my faith in God and I'm anchored there. Where are you anchored? Because if you don't have a mooring somewhere, if you don't have a footing somewhere, a foundation somewhere, you can be pushed and blown and tossed around all over the shop. And that's not what I want for you, and that's not good for you. I don't want other people imprinting their reality and their paradigm on you. I want you to understand what reality is and walk in it yourself. I haven't really got much more to say. This is a quick one in and out. But look around you. Listen to the words that are being used to describe the world we're currently in. And ask yourself, are these true? Or have I, even before I began thinking about these issues, have I even accepted the wrong issues? Have I even accepted the wrong framework? The words we say and the things we mean. Interesting stuff. Anyway, that's probably it. I'm going to go and take my dog for a walk. I'm going to go and sit down with my daughters for a little while and watch a little movie before their bedtime. Bless you guys. Have a great week. Sorry this one's a bit late today. It's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. I'll see you tomorrow morning for the penultimate 10:46 weigh-in, Tuesday for pro tips, and then back here next Thursday for the podcast. Bless you guys. Later.